Low 800 hours, Philippine Sea. The sun climbs over a vast, polished expanse of deep blue water. Inside the air-conditioned bridge of the
Aye,
US
Captain.
supercarrier,
Hard right rudder. Confirmed.
the hum of electronics drowns out the ocean wind. Dozens of glowing monitors display a digital wall of protection. Radar sweeps cover hundreds of miles. Satellite uplinks stream terabytes of data. Young officers tap on glass touchscreens, moving icons of destroyers and frigates like pieces on a chessboard. The air smells of ozone and fresh coffee. It is a sterile, quiet environment, totally detached from the raw elements outside. The massive vessel cuts through the swells with computerized precision. A radar operator frowns. He taps his screen. The green sweep line stutters. He wipes the glass, assuming it is a smudge. The line freezes. Static hisses from the overhead speakers, low at first, then rising to a sharp whine. The Admiral steps onto the bridge. He looks at the main tactical display. The map flickers. The digital icons usually tracking the fleet begin to jump erratically. Reset the feed.
Combat!
The Admiral orders.
We have a torpedo.
The screen does not reset.
What is the
It
status
turns a
of the
violent,
status of the
solid
tactical
white.
display?
Then the sky tears open. A blinding flash, brighter than the sun, detonates 50 miles overhead. It makes no sound. Instantly, the bridge plunges into darkness. Every monitor explodes outward. Glass shards spray across the room. The constant hum of the ventilation system dies, replaced by a deafening silence that lasts exactly 1 second. Then sparks shower from the overhead wire conduits. The heavy smell of burning plastic and fried copper fills the rooms. My eyes! The helmsman screams, clutching his face. The 100,000-ton steel beast shudders. The main engines, controlled by microprocessors, seize up. The ship lurches forward, momentum carrying it, but the power is gone. Emergency lights fail to trigger. The backup batteries fry instantly. Inside the Combat Information Center, deep in the bowels of the ship, the situation is catastrophic. A row of consoles sparks violently, throwing the operators backward. Smoke billows from the server racks. A sailor collapses, coughing in the sudden air. There is no air circulation. The heat begins to rise. On the flight deck, a fighter jet sits on the catapult. Engines scream on the flash. The pilot's digital command display goes dead. The jet's engine computer fails. The turbine grinds to a halt with a sickening metal screech. The sudden loss of control pressure. The deck crew, wearing colored jerseys, freeze. They look at each other, tapping their helmets. Their headsets are dead. The Admiral pulls himself up from the deck. Blood trickles from a cut on his forehead where he hit the railing. He grabs the handset for the ship-wide intercom. He tries the tactical radio to the escort ships.
Forget the networks. Use
Runners!
the sound-powered
He bellows.
phones.
His
I want
voice
damage
echoes in the
reports
dead bridge.
manually now.
Send
Evacuate
runners
the
to
bridge
engineering.
wing
I
immediately.
want damage reports.
All personnel
Get lookouts to the
muster
bridge
secondary
wings with
command.
binoculars now.
Move!
3 junior officers scramble
the
over
hatch.
the debris, crunching glass
Watch the
into their
glass.
boots as they
Glass
sprint
door
out
closing.
the steel doors. Outside, the massive destroyer escorting the carrier begins to turn sharply to port. Its rudder is locked. Without computerized stability control, the smaller ship rolls heavily in the swell. It is drifting. They are all drifting. The digital tether that connected the fleet is severed. Smoke pours from the carrier's island structure. The most advanced war machine on Earth is now a floating island of dead steel. Wait 05 hours, 20,000 feet above the Philippine Sea. The sky is a brutal, blinding blue. 2 fighter jets patrol the perimeter of the fleet in tight formation. The air is thin and cold. Inside the cockpits, the hum of life support systems provides a steady rhythm. The pilots rely entirely on the green glow of their heads-up displays to orient themselves against the featureless horizon. Suddenly, the digital horizon line vanishes. The cockpit screens flash red, then go black. Radio silence is instantly hit. The lead fighter jet the fly-by-wire computer, essential for keeping the unstable airframe level, is dead. The aircraft is no longer a racing machine. It is a falling rock. The pilot slams the stick to the left. It does not move. The hydraulics are frozen. The nose drops. The jet enters a flat spin. The horizon spins wildly, sky over sky. The G-forces slam the pilot against the canopy glass. The helmet strikes the plexiglass with a crack. Eject! Eject!
Mayday! We have an uncontained
He
engine.
reaches for the yellow and black handle between his legs. Explosive bolts shear the canopy off. The wind roars deafening. Physical hammer blow of 400 knots. It kicks him up the top. A sudden acceleration crushes the air from his lungs. The parachute deploys with a violent snap, jerking his body upward. Below him, the second fighter jet is not so lucky. The pilot fights the controls, wrestling with the dead weight of the aircraft. He dives towards the cloud layer. The nose points straight at the ocean. pierces the cloud deck. It races toward the water. It impacts the surface of the water. There is no splash. The water acts like concrete. The aircraft disintegrates instantly. A massive geyser of white spray and atomized fuel erupts upwards. Twisted metal skips across the waves like black stones. High above, the drifting pilot watches the circle of white foam expand into blue water. He hangs in the silence. He checks
Mayday, is anyone receiving this transmission?
presses the transmit button. Static, just static. 8:30 hours, starboard deck of the U.S. destroyer. The vessel lists 5 degrees to north. The ocean swells slam against the steel hull, sending rhythmic vibrations through the deck plates. Smoke from the fried radar arrays hangs low over the bow, stinging the eyes. Sailors in blue
move to damage
camouflage rush
control,
along
locker
the
7.
walkways.
Keep
They carry
moving.
heavy ammunition
Almost
crates.
there.
Their breathing is ragged.
Don't stop.
Without the digital fire control systems, the ship is blind. Man the rails! The chief petty officer bellows.
Engage
He
that
points to the
target
horizon.
now.
Give
On
me
the
the
walkway,
mallet. It's
3
completely
sailors struggle
seized.
to unlock
Hurry
the
up.
manual mount of a 50 caliber
We're
machine
expired.
gun.
Hit it
The
hard.
heavy steel pin is jammed. One sailor kicks the mount. It snaps free. They swing the heavy barrel toward the sea. They feed a belt of brass cartridges into the receiver. The metal clicks are loud in the unnatural quiet. A lookout on the bridge wing leans over the railing. He points a trembling finger at the sky to the north. Inbound, low, 3 o'clock. A swarm of black specks emerges from the haze. They are not jets. They are drones, hundreds of them. They move like a flock of birds, shifting, undulating in the air. They are small, jagged, and silent. These are autonomous hunter-killers, hardened against electronic interference. They do
Warning,
not need
GPS signal denied.
The
Pattern.
swarm dives. The air fills with the high-pitched whine of electric motors. Open fire!
Engage the target now.
The 50 caliber machine gun delivers. The heavy thump of the thunder shakes the deck. Glass casings spill onto the non-skid surface. Tracers streak out, bright orange lines against the waves. But the drones are small and fast. The bullets slash through the air, missing the agile pilots. The first drone slams into the bridge glass. It detonates. A fireball engulfs the starboard lookout. Glass shines down. The explosion knocks the machine gun crew off their feet. 3 more drones peel off the swarm and dive at the missile tubes. They impact the steel launchers. The shape charges detonate. Metal rips open. Burning fuel sprays across the amidships. Reload! Reload! A gunner yells, his face smeared with soot. He hauls himself back up to the gun. He squeezes the butterfly trigger. The gun bucks violently. He walks the fire into the incoming wave. 1 drone explodes in midair, disintegrating into plastic shrapnel. But 10 more take its place. They strafe the deck with micro-munitions. Small explosions chew up the railings. A sailor carrying an ammo box takes a hit to the leg. He collapses screaming. The box hits the deck, spilling rounds into the scuppers. The destroyer shudders as a heavier drone strikes the water. The sound of buckling steel echoes through the ship. The water rushes into the lower compartments. The vessel groans. On the horizon, the rest of the swarm ignores the burning destroyer. They lift up, adjusting their flight path. They head for the drifting aircraft carrier. 45 hours down the U.S. frigate. The warship drifts sideways in the heavy trough of the waves. It is dead. Without stabilizer fins, the hull rolls violently, dipping the gunnels toward the foaming surface. On the aft deck, 20 sailors strain against thick chains. They are trying to manually turn the massive rudder nose. Their boots slip lines, their muscles bulge. The heavy iron mechanism groans and barely moves. The ship is a leaf in a storm. Hard to starboard, heave!
Double
The bosun
time.
screams.
Don't let
The
go.
lookout on the bow blows a whistle. The sound is shrill and frantic. Emerging from the gray mist, a mountain of rusted steel looms over. It is a commercial container ship, fully loaded. It is 10 times the size of the frigate. Its engines are also dead, cut by the EMP. It drifts with the momentum of 200,000 tons. It is moving inexorably toward the frigate. Brace for impact! The shadow of the
Brace for
merchant ship
impact.
swallows the frigate. The bow of the massive container vessel rises in a swing. It hangs there for a second, dripping seawater, a hammer raised above manhole. It drops. The collision tears the world apart. The merchant ship's bulbous bow rams into the frigate's midships. Armor plate buckles like tin foil. A screech of tearing metal erupts, loud enough to burst eardrums. Sparks shower down in a cascade of white heat as steel grinds against steel. The frigate tilts wildly to port, almost capsizing. On the deck, the sailors hauling the chains are thrown like rag dolls. They slide across the non-skid surface, slamming into bulkheads and railings. One sailor tumbles over the side, disappearing into the churning white water between the 2 crushing hulls. The container ship does not stop. Its momentum continues. It shears through the frigate's superstructure. The frigate's helicopter hangar collapses. The metal roof crumples, pinning a grounded helicopter. Aviation fuel lines rupture. A spray of jet fuel coats the wreckage. The two ships groan as they lock together, drifting as a tangled mass of destruction. The frigate lists 40 degrees. Water pours into the gaping hole in the hull. The alarm bells remain silent. The only sound is the terrifying moan of bending steel and the rush of the ocean entering the ship. 0900 hours,
Watchtower
forward
4, we have
operating
movement
base
on the
Sierra,
eastern berm.
unnamed
Over.
Philippine island.
Roger that.
The jungle heat is oppressive. Steam rises from the ground earth. The base is a circle of sandbags and dugouts carved into the volcanic rock. Marines crouch in their fire holes. Their uniforms are soaked with sweat. They stare at the ocean through the dense tree line. The radio operator sits in the command tent. He slams
I
the
don't
handset
care what
against
the
table.
regulations say.
Nothing,
Breaking
sir.
up, Captain.
Just static.
I can't
reach
confirm the
fleet.
coordinates.
Can't reach orbit.
We've lost
The
the...
captain wipes mud from his face. He looks at his wrist. His smartwatch is blank. Eyes on the water, he orders. If they
All
know
right,
we're
listen up.
blind,
We're
they're
moving
coming.
out now.
A whistle sounds from the observation post. A Marine points to the reef line. A kilometer out, the water erupts. White geysers of spray shoot up in a straight line, marching toward the beach. Incoming! Artillery! The ground shakes. The first shell lands 50 meters short of the perimeter. It explodes in the sand, throwing a cloud of grit and coral into the air. The sound is a chest crump. The second shell. It slams into the supply depot. A fireball rolls upward, consuming the fuel lines. Black smoke boils into the sky, thick and oily. Take cover! The captain roars. He dives into a trench just as a shell hits the command tent. The blast wave lifts the heavy canvas structure and shreds it. Wood splinters fly with shrapnel. The radio operator is thrown back, his equipment shattering against the rock wall. More shells rain down. They are walking the fire across the base. The explosions churn the earth, turning the orderly camp into a moonscape of craters. Trees snap in half, coconuts drop on stones. But there is no ship visible. The enemy is firing from over the horizon, using the coordinates they locked in before the blackout. The Marine in the trench next to the captain looks up. His face is pale. He grips his rifle until his knuckles bleed. Sir, movement on the beach! Through the smoke, amphibious assault vehicles churn through the surf. They are dark green, low in the water. They hit the sand. Figures in gray digital camouflage sprint out. They move fast. They
All
fan out
units,
across
push
the
the
white
line.
sand. They are not waiting for the barrage to lift. They are advancing under their own fire. The captain chambers around in his rifle. The metallic clack is the only mechanical sound that works. Fix
This is our
bayonets,
ground.
he says.
This is
They
our
want
time.
the island.
Hold
Make
the
them pay
line,
for every
Marines.
inch. 9:30 hours, 400 feet below the surface. The
We have
control
active
room of the
sonar,
US
bearing
attack submarine is bathed in
320.
battle
Get us
stations
deeper
red.
now.
The air is recycled and cool. Men stand hunched over consoles, faces slick with sweat in the crimson gloom. The silence is absolute, broken only by the rhythmic ping of the fathometer.
Sonar.
Sonar. I have loud breakup noises on the surface.
Hey.
The sonar chief reports.
I've maintained silence, all hands.
Multiple explosions.
The situation has
The
deteriorated.
fleet is sinking, sir.
We are tracking
The
multiple...
captain grips the periscope railing. He stares at the plotted chart.
X status.
There are no satellite updates, no orders from command. They are alone in the deep. Con sonar, high-speed contact, bearing 090,
Bearing
close
090,
aboard.
incoming.
Passive waterfall display shows a hard white line cutting through the static. An enemy submarine. He was waiting for the answer. Right
Target
full
that
rudder,
fighter.
the captain
All
barks.
weapons hot.
Snapshot,
Evasive
2, 1, and 2.
pattern Delta
The
net.
helmsman spins the yoke. The massive 7,000-ton vessel banks hard. The deck angles steeply. Charts slide off the plotting
Helm, stabilize our depth.
Stay standing.
Engineer.
Tube 1 ready, tube 2 ready. Fire! Compressed air screams. The ship shudders twice as heavy torpedoes are ejected from the bow. Torpedoes in the water. The weapons officer confirms. Con sonar, torpedo in the water, incoming. Bearing 095.
Diving
Enemy
alarm,
fire.
emergency deep.
Launch countermeasures,
Helm,
emergency
full
deep.
ahead flank,
The
left.
submarine dives. The deck tilts down to the sink. Outside, 3 acoustic decoys. They fizz and pop, creating a wall of fumes to confuse the enemy weapon. The enemy torpedo passes overhead. The sound is like a freight train screaming through a tunnel. It misses the hull by 50 feet. It detonates on the decoy. Boom! The shockwave hammers the submarine. The steel hull
Helm,
rings like a struck
maintain
bell.
depth.
Light bulbs shatter. Dust falls from the overhead pumps. A high-pressure water line in the galley bursts, spraying mist into the corridor. Men are thrown against
Stabilize
the
the
bulkheads.
dive plane.
The captain slams his ribs against the periscope stand.
We're showing it.
Damage report! He yells, coughing in the dust. Still making way. We are clear. On the sonar screen, the 2 U.S. torpedoes close the distance. The enemy sub tries to turn, its screw churning the water frantically. It is too slow. The first U.S. torpedo slams into the enemy's engine room. The explosion is muffled but distinct, a heavy, crushing thud that vibrates through the ocean floor. Target is breaking up, the sonar chief says. He pulls his headphones off. Implosion detected. The enemy sub collapses under the pressure, crushed instantly into scrap metal. The U.S. sub levels off, drifting silently in the dark water, surrounded by the echoes of destruction. 1,000 hours, lower decks of the U.S. destroyer. The corridor is black, tilted at a steep 15-degree angle. Red emergency chemical lights taped to the walls cast long, bloody shadows. The air is thick with the metallic taste of adrenaline and diesel fumes.
Hold the
Salt
line,
water
we're taking
sloshes
on
around
water
the
fast.
beams of the 6 sailors crouched behind
Brace
the
for
watertight
impact,
door.
sir.
They grip shotguns and pistols. Their uniforms are torn and stained with grease. Clank. A heavy metallic sound echoes from the deck above. Then footsteps. Fast, heavy boots on steel. Not Navy issue. They're inside.
They've reached the lower deck.
Young heavy officer.
We have less than a minute
He
before
racks the slide of his shotgun. The sound is loud in the silence. Boom! The hatch at the end of the corridor explodes inward. The steel door flies off its hinges, crushing the fire extinguisher on the opposite wall. A cloud of gray smoke expands instantly. A stun grenade rolls across the floor. It stops at the sailor's feet. Bang! A blinding flash of white light, a deafening crack. The sailors recoil, instinctively shielding their eyes. Their ears ring. Enemy soldiers flow through the smoke. They wear black tactical gear and gas masks that look like insect eyes. They move with fluid, practiced aggression. The carbines feature short barrels and blinding blades. Contact front! The sailors open fire. Shotgun blasts roar in the confined space. Lead pellets spark off the steel bulkheads and piping. One enemy soldier jerks back, his armor plate absorbing the blow as it falls. Return fire is precise and automatic. Bullets chew through the air. They rip through the sailor's cover. Sparks shower down like fireworks. A sailor takes a round to the shoulder. He spins around, slamming into the wall, sliding down into the water. The enemy advances. They step over their fallen comrade. They fire on the move. A massive sailor charges forward, swinging a heavy fire axe. He screams. An enemy soldier sidesteps, catches the axe handle, and drives a combat knife into the sailor's side. They grapple. They slam into the hot pipework. Steam hisses. The enemy soldier headbutts the sailor with his Kevlar helmet. The crunch of bone is audible. The sailor crumples. The petty officer fires his pistol until the slide locks back. He fumbles for a magazine, his hands shake. A laser dot sweeps across his chest. He dives through an open hatch just as bullets zipper across the doorframe. He spins the heavy wheel, locking the dog bolts. On the other side, fists pound the steel. Then the hiss of a cutting torch starts. The point of blue flame hits through the metal. Molten steel drips onto the deck. 10:30 hours, flight deck of the U.S. aircraft carrier. The sun beats down on the black moleskin surface. Heat is radiating from the steel. The ship drifts slowly, wallowing in the swells without propulsion. Dead aircraft litter the deck, parked at odd angles. The silence of the dead ship is broken by the clang of hammers and the grunts of desertion. Heave! 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 50 sailors line up along the wings and fuselage of the fighter jet. They dig their knees into the deck. Their muscles strain, veins bulge in their necks. Slowly, the 20-ton machine begins to roll. It creaks, tires grind against the bridge. Push the blade east toward the number 1 catapult. Hold it! Chocks in! The yellow-shirted flight deck throws wooden blocks at the wheels. The jet stops beneath the deck. In the catapult machinery room, the heat is suffocating. It is 120 degrees. Engineers steel and hydraulic. And sweat. The digital control valves are dead. Bypass the solenoid, the chief engineer says. He hands a heavy sledgehammer to a mechanic. The mechanic swings. Clang. The electronic housing smashes apart. Plastic shatters. He swings again. The metal casing cracks. He reaches in with a wrench, stripping the wires, exposing the manual brass valve stem. Pressure is holding at 500 psi. A sailor reports, reading an old analog dial on a backup tank. It's enough. On the deck, the pilot climbs into the cockpit. He wears a harness but no G-suit connection. The avionics screens are black. He has a map taped to his leg and a compass on the dashboard. He signals with a thumbs up. The air boss stands on the deck. He holds a green flag. There are no lights, no computers to calculate the launch speed. He looks at the wind. He looks at the waves. He does the math in his head. Fire! He drops the flag. Fire! Below deck, 2 sailors grab the manual valve wheel. They yank it hard to the left. Steam screams. The pressure release is violent and uncontrolled. The catapult shuttle slams forward. The cable goes taut instantly. The fighter jet lurches. The nose nose gear struck and presses. The aircraft shoots down the track. It accelerates brutally. The track channel, blinding the deck crew. The jet reaches the edge of the track. It drops. For a terrifying second, it disappears below the bow. Then the afterburners ignite. 2 cones of blue fire blast the water. The roar shakes the ground. The jet climbs sluggishly into the blue sky, banking hard to the left, hunting for targets within the horizon. 1100 hours. The open ocean. Visibility is unlimited. The sea state is modern, with white caps breaking over the swells. On the horizon, gray shapes emerge from the heat haze. They are not blips on a radar screen. They are solid, massive silhouettes. The enemy fleet has arrived. They follow the column of black smoke rising from the burning U.S. carrier like a beacon. On the bridge of the surviving U.S. destroyer, the captain stands on the wing. He holds heavy optical binoculars. He does not look at screens. He looks at the enemy. He sees the muzzle flashes. Incoming brace! 4 seconds later, the air tears open. The sound of heavy artillery shells passing overhead is like ripping canvas. Wham! A geyser of water, 100 feet high, erupts just off the port bow. The spray dentures the bridge glass. The ship rocks violently. Tightness and force. Gun control bridge. Target the lead destroyer. Direct fire. Fire at will. On the foredeck, a 5-inch gun rotates. Moves jerkily, driven by hydraulic pumps, but aimed by human eyes looking through binoculars. Barrel elevates. Boom. The gun fires. The recoil shakes the entire ship. The brass casing, the size of a trash can, ejects onto the deck with a hollow clang. Smoke rings drift over the bow. Reload! Reload!
Stand by for
Inside the
firing.
turret, sailors sweat in the cramped heat. They heave a 90-pound shell into the breach. They shove the powder charge behind it. The breech block slams shut. Across 3 miles of ocean, the U.S. shell strikes the enemy destroyer. It hits the superstructure. There is a flash of orange light. Steel plating flies into the air. The explosion shreds the enemy's bridge wing. But the enemy returns fire immediately, a full broadside. 3 shells strike the U.S. destroyer simultaneously. The first shell punches through the hull above the waterline. It detonates in the galley. The blast blows the watertight doors off their hinges. Fire instantly fills the corridor. The second shell hits the smokestack. Metal shrapnel sprays the deck like confetti. The third shell strikes the base of the forward 5-inch gun. The explosion is catastrophic. The gun turret lifts off its ring. It crashes down onto the deck, crushing the safety rail. The ammunition inside the hoist cooks off. A secondary explosion rips the bow apart. The ship shudders, stopping dead in the water. Damage control teams to the bow. Fire hoses, now! Sailors stumble through the smoke.
Stay low.
They drag heavy
Got it.
canvas
Push it
hoses.
forward now.
The deck is slippery with oil and blood. They spray foam onto the burning wreckage of the gun. The water around the ship turns black as soot. The 2 fleets drift closer, trading blows with iron and fire, locked in a brutal, primitive slugfest. 11:30 hours. Approach vector, stern of the U.S. aircraft carrier. The fighter jet hangs in the air, a lone predator running on fumes. The pilot breathes heavily. His oxygen mask is slick and sweat. He taps the glass of the fuel gauge. The needle rests on the red peg. Empty. Below him, the carrier is a heaving island of steel, obscured by thick black smoke rolling off the flight deck. There are no landing lights, no meatball glide slope indicator, no radio voice talking him down. He drops the needle. He drags slow to the jet instantly.
Stay with me.
The engine
Stay with me.
It is starving.
Wave
On the
off,
fantail
wave off.
of
The
camera,
carrier is
the
experiencing
landing
heavy
signal
pitch.
officer, LSO,
Roger that.
stands
Holding
on the
pattern
edge of the
established.
bridge. He holds 2 bright lamps. The wind whips his jersey. He watches the approaching jet. It
Easy
is
with
too
the
high,
power. You're drifting left.
then too
Get
low.
it centered.
The deck heaves up on a
Wave
massive
off,
swell,
execute,
rising
wave off
20
now.
feet in seconds. The LSO
Wave off,
crosses the
wave
paddles
off,
over his
get
head.
airborne.
Wave off. The pilot ignores it. He cannot wave off. He has no fuel to go around. He pushes the nose down. The jet screams over the fantail. The deck drops away as the ship rides down the swell. The timing is catastrophic. Slam! The main landing gear impacts the steel deck with the force of a car punch. The struts compress to their limits. The tires scream, smoking instantly. The jet bounces. It skips over the first obstacle. The tailhook drags across the steel plates. Sparks shower like a grinder cutting metal. This is the second one, and this is the third one. Bolter! Bolter! The LSO screams into the dead wind, dropping to his knees. The jet is still moving at 130 knots. It is running out of deck. The pilot stomps on the brakes. The tires lock up. Rubber burns, leaving thick black skid marks. The jet slides sideways. The right wing dips. It clips the tail of a parked helicopter. Crunch. Wingtip shears off, aluminum shreds. The impact spins the fighter jet around. It slides backwards, screeching across the non-skid surface. It slams into the steel barricade. The nylon straps snap tight. The nose gear collapses. The jet nose dives into the deck. The canopy shatters. The engine intakes inhale the weapon debris. The turbine explodes. Blade shrapnel slices through the fuselage. Fire erupts from the engine housing. Fire! Fire on the deck! Sailors in silver proximity suits sprint toward the burning wreck. They do not wait for the prompts to stop spinning. They climb up the side of the fuselage. One smashes the cockpit release.
Pull yourself
He
up. We
reaches
have
into
to
the
move
fire.
now.
He grabs the pilot's harness. He pulls. The pilot tumbles out, coughing smoke, his flight suit scorched. They drag him across the hot steel plates just as the fuel tanks ignite. A wall of heat washes over them, singing their eyebrows. 1,200 hours, the Philippine Sea. The guns fall silent. The heavy thud of artillery is replaced by the crackling hiss of 1,000 fires. The ocean is no longer blue. It is a slick, shimmering black tapestry of bunker fuel and ash. Debris fields stretch for miles. Torn life jackets, splintered plates, and jagged pieces of hull plating bobbing in the swell. A lone orange light raft drips in the throng. Inside, 4 sailors huddle. They are covered in soot and oil. Their eyes are closed. One holds a bandage to his head. The white gauze is rapidly turning red. He nods back. 100 yards away, the U.S. destroyer is attuned. It lists 80 degrees to starboard. The bow is gone. Smoke pours from the funnel, rising in a straight, unwavering column into the silent sky. As they watch, the ship groans. A pocket of air escapes the hull with a deep belch. The vessel roars over. The keel breaks the surface, rusted, barnacled, and rusted. With a final rush of bubbles, it slips beneath the black water. On the horizon, the enemy fleet is also burning. They are dark shapes against the sun, drifting aimlessly. There is no victory, just broken steel. A sailor in the raft pulls a waterproof radio from his survival vest. He extends
This is
the
the
antenna,
Odyssey. We have an
presses the
emergency.
transmit button.
Doesn't
Mayday!
Mayday, any station.
Can anyone hear this?
Silence.
We're going down!
He adjusts the squelch.
Mayday!
He tries a different frequency. This is U.S. Navy
Mayday!
survival craft,
Mayday!
requesting immediate assistance.
This is the sailing vessel
Silence.
Puffin. We are
He looks up at the sky. It's empty. No contrails, no rescue helicopters. The satellites are dead. The data links are gone. The world has shrunk to what they can see with their own eyes. The sun beats down hot and indifferent. The sailor looks at the shipwrights. He drops the device into the oily water. It floats for a moment, then sinks.